Hello, hello, hello. My name is CottonCandieBoop, and today we are starting a brand new Satisfactory world to celebrate the release of 1.0. Better late than never, okay? I know I'm late. We don't have to talk about it. I know. Alright? Anyways, just to start off, every time you play Satisfactory, the first thing you do is click the New Game button. And now, it's not my first time playing Satisfactory. I have a world that I've been playing for 26 days, not in a row, but I've played it on 26 individual days. And I believe that I am good enough for the Northern Forest now. We're going to call this session name Badoop. We're not going to skip the intro.
Separation from main transport complete. Group 8 delivered to Calistian region. All pioneers functional, initiating dispersion. Attention pioneer, I am Ada, your personal instance of the artificial directory and assistant. Welcome to the Fixit Incorporated Save the Day program. A Fixit pioneer has 3 core assignments. Construct. All pioneers must follow Fixit guidelines and instructions when constructing any building. Automate. Every pioneer is responsible for setting up and managing efficient pipelines, outposts, and power infrastructure. Explore and exploit. Fixit selected planets are rich with resources suitable for direct use or further investigation. Stay within your designated. And that is why the world is counting on pioneers like you. Fixit. Short-term solutions to long-term problems. Initiating planetfall. Atmospheric entry in 3, 2, 1. Beginning arrow assist. Drag within acceptable parameters. Descent phase begun. Decelerating. Deploying parachute. Deploying backup parachute. Skipping parachute. Landing phase begun. Activating retro propulsion. Touchdown. Planetfall complete. Drop pod integrity nominal. Omni-situational exploration suit nominal. Pioneer. Acceptable.
I am much better than acceptable, Ada.
Congratulations. You are the third in your region to survive planetfall. Welcome to Massage 2, AB-B, in the binary system of Akicha. Loading objective-based introduction. Begin onboarding. First contact safety tool supplied due to presence of alien megafauna. Adhere to Fixit procedure and equip the Fixit Inc. Xeno Zapper before leaving the drop zone. Next objective. Dismantle the drop pod. Fixit Incorporated is cost-effective and efficient. We do not waste. The drop pod will be recycled to construct the first stage of the habitat and utility base, often referred to as the hub. Next objective. Use the resource scanner to find and collect additional iron to be able to build the hub. If you cannot find iron, be assured scans of the planet have revealed sufficient iron sources.
Oh, that's far. But it's quite a bit of iron. I did not realize, I've played this game so much, did not know that you could press V quickly to just redo the same scan. I think I will die if I take that fall. Is there a safe way down? Oh! Oh, that's the hostility. Oh god, I'm so close to them this time. Alright. Ah! Aha! Get homicided.
Damaged hard drive successfully acquired. All
There he
pioneers
is.
are contractually obliged to preserve and secure any recovered hard drives for future analysis, which may result in benefits to the Fix-It mission. Speculation as to why there are crashed freighters in your Fix-It designated zone is discouraged as specified in your contract.
Alright, sorry, where was I going?
Samples of
direction?
new alien species acquired.
Yeah.
Notable features are blunt teeth, suggesting it is herbivorous, and a thickly plated skull and spine, suggesting it is proficient at inflicting and receiving blunt force trauma. Preserve the remains for later study. Next objective. Use the build gun to construct the hub. Iron is a base component necessary for all near-future progress, so ensure you build the hub close to iron sources. Fix-It does not pay by the kilometer.
I think right here is a good spot.
Hub foundation built. The hub terminal and crafting bench are only the humble beginnings of a successful Fix-It pioneer.
Alright, let's kill
but
this
essential
guy
for
really
the next
quick.
steps of onboarding. Once finished, the hub will function as your base of operations. Next objective. Complete hub upgrade 1.
Alright, complete hub upgrade 1. Let's see. Literally 10 iron rods? I have that on hand.
Hub upgrade 1, storage and frame, completed. Equipment like the portable miner can now be made in the workshop. Congratulations on completing your first milestone, the first of many providing access to new recipes and technologies for the Fix-It mission. Next objective. Complete hub upgrade 2.
Oh, this is good because I can't use that yet, and I can't use that yet, and I don't think I can use either of those yet. So having that storage is going to be useful. Let's see, just complete this immediately.
Hub upgrade 2, power and shell, completed. The smelter can turn raw ore such as copper and iron into ingots, and the biomass burner generates power when fueled. Fun fact, most of the native flora and fauna is compatible with Fix-It technology. Fueling the biomass burner with inappropriate materials will result in deductions or even cancellation of your yearly bonus. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 3.
We're only going to make 20 wires. We want to be as efficient as possible. While I'm waiting on these to happen, I'm going to make
Hub
iron ore.
upgrade 3, interior furnishing, completed. The constructor can produce simple parts, and power poles allow for the expansion of the power grid. When you make the inevitable mistake, Fix-It's dismantling feature is designed to salvage all resources used during construction, in line with our zero waste policy. We understand that Fix-It pioneers are only human and thus prone to error. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 4.
I need literally 2 more copper. I also need to find limestone, which I hope is nearby. I was told by a YouTube video I watched that the harder the like higher up the starting spot was, the better it was. And I'm seeing that very apparently with like how close I am to copper and iron right here. Oh, there's the limestone on that little island thing. Can I even get up here right now? Oh, I didn't even realize that I thought this was just gonna be void. Oh, and there's a power slug over there, I think. Oh, I need to click the button.
Hub upgrade 4, landing platform and utilities completed. Conveyor belts connect the output of one building to the input of another and transport resources. Due to past incidents, I have been asked to issue a clarification. Portable miners, obviously, do not have a connection for conveyor belts. There is nothing to suggest, visually or functionally, that they can be connected to portable miners. If this is something you struggle with, do not worry. Fixit has alternative uses for all their pioneers. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 5.
Oh, I need to actually make iron rods now. I'm not going to automate anything until I can get full miners to do everything. On my last playthrough, I skipped the tutorial process and it was a lot easier.
Hub upgrade 5, power expansion completed. The miner, unlike portable miners, can be connected to conveyor belts and requires power to function. Caution: as you expand, the energy demand of your production may exceed the capacity of your power grid. The onboarding program was established because Fixit pioneers often experience memory issues after planetfall. If you are experiencing nosebleeds, nausea, existentialism, or an itchy scalp, there is no need for concern. This should pass within 5 to 7 workdays. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 6.
Okay, now we have the miner option, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to point it like this. And in order to set up a miner properly, I need some power. And the only way to make power that we have access to right now is biomass. So we're going to collect all... There's a whole iron vein over here. I didn't even realize that. There's so much iron here. I need the leaves. I don't need the iron. Well, I need the leaves for the iron. I can't use more iron now. As much as I would like to have a lot of different sources of iron, what I need is leaves. For now, we have no recipes for anything past just straight biofuel. Alright, this is our basic iron setup. It starts with this biomass burner, which burns at 9 megawatts, which is the consumption needed. It always matches consumption when you're using biomass. Our max consumption is 9, because over in the iron department, we have our miner producing iron ore using 5 megawatts. And then we have our smelter using 4 megawatts. The miner takes iron ore, you can see, through to the smelter. The smelter turns it into iron ingots. We can also see that the miner is producing 120 per minute, while the smelter can only take 30 per minute. This isn't good for now. We will later need to set up more smelters. But what we do not have yet is any splitters or anything to manifest that. But this smelter turns iron ore into iron ingots at 30 per minute and throws them straight in here. That means that I can just take all of the iron from here and throw it directly into my project. While we're waiting, we can grab some more leaves for more biofuel so we don't run out later. Alright, and now we have both the iron products fully set up. Next up is copper for the wires, which I'm going to set up by the same method. I'm just going to drag a power line over here and then build the same thing. The way to set this up is actually very easy. You just want to line your miner up so that it's going to go in a good straight line that you have enough room for. Take your smelter and line it up so that from the input of the smelter to the output of the miner, you see one of these little lines. You also want to move it back a little bit if it's on an incline like this so that you can connect a conveyor belt. And then finally, you take a storage container and you line it up the same way. So you can see that little dotted line coming into the input. Connect it with the conveyor belt. Then you take your power, connect it to the miner, connect it to the smelter. Go ahead and select your resource in the select recipe. This is a copper miner, mining copper ore, so we're going to make copper ingots with it. And it will output automatically into this chest once it gets started working. There's the concrete and the wires.
Hub Upgrade 6, Landing Platform Hydraulics, completed. Freighter landing initialized. Congratulations, you have completed onboarding and achieved the absolute minimum skill level required of a Fix-It Pioneer. Fix-It looks forward to your future achievements, because a future with Fix-It is a future with you. Tier 1 and 2 milestones are now available in the hub, and biomass burners can now be built individually. Your first official objective is to initiate project assembly by building the space elevator. This objective will take a significant amount of resources, so Fix-It recommends getting to work.
Now, our first objective is technically to build the space elevator, which is this massive thing that takes so many resources. But I want to get started with this base building one, which needs 200 concrete, 100 iron plates, and 100 rods. And since our iron machine has been running since the dawn of time, we can just get started with that right away. Now I've done the iron, but I don't want to get started on the concrete quite yet, because as part of Tier 0, I unlocked biomass leaves. And we can make tons of this stuff because we have just so many leaves. We also, I assume, have biomass wood. But biomass is going to be a lot better than any raw leaves or wood. So it's going to be a lot more beneficial to do all of this right now and then just feed this all to my generators than to set anything else up. While I was doing that, it appears that one of my fuses blew, and we can see right here, it's a very obvious problem. We don't have any fuel. So if I just throw that in with the fuse, we've immediately blown the fuse again because we only had 3 leaves. But what I can do with biofuel now, biomass here, is I can throw it in and it's going to burn at 6 2/3 per minute instead of 12 per minute, which is almost twice as good. And since we have way more biomass than we ever did wood, this is a very good resource. Now, we've got our automatic concrete generator here. It's the same as any of these machines, except this time we've got obviously our miner, but then a constructor made using these very nice reinforced iron plates we found at the crash site on our way here, leading into, as always, storage. While we're waiting for concrete to set up, I'm going to start a constructor running over here. Since we already have the materials to make constructors, what I can do is I can just throw some stuff in here and have it automatically making wires for me, which is great because I'm going to need quite a few of them on the next activity. Finally, the concrete machine has delivered on all 200 of our concrete. So we can slide that right in, click the launch pod, and for the first time this playthrough, watch that happen.
Several new structures are now available for improving factory organization. Foundations provide a building grid, which makes it easier to manage placement of any structure. In the event that you are experiencing amnesia for all events prior to planetfall, be reassured that memories of beloved humans and/or animals would have only been distractions from your important mission.
What we've got in here is foundations, ramps, walls. Basic, easy stuff. And that's going to play a big role later, but right now I do not have the patience to build an actually functioning, good looking factory that's built on foundation stuff. Our next thing that we can do is conveyor splitters, conveyor mergers, conveyor lift. These are very important. These are very good. Also, building efficiency up, great idea. So, we set up that wire maker over here while we were waiting on the concrete. And it has not produced 300 wires. Luckily, we have something else we need to do on this task. We need quite a bit of miscellaneous iron stuff. So what I can do is take a bunch of iron from over there, which I've got right here, and I can craft all of the things. Starting, of course, with the iron plate, because why would we not? This is the one that's the worst. Now we can throw in 150 iron plates, 150 iron rods. Then we can go over to our wire machine, find that we do have a total of 300. Now we take that 300, throw it into the machine, click launch, get another great view. That genuinely was so quick.
Reached. Conveyor belts can now merge, split, and lift to save space and enhance the productivity of your factory. Fixit encourages you to consider investing in verticality when it comes to factory logistics. If you feel stressed by this complexity, imagine yourself on the shore of a vast and calm ocean. Breathe in, visualize all the people relying on you. The sea is made of billions of faces, each staring at you with hope and tears in their eyes. Breathe out, feel refreshed and focused on your duties.
Our next milestone is going to be a very good one because we finally get the map so I can see where I am. We finally get the MAM so I can do things like look at that drive. We get the object scanner, which is good for a lot of reasons. Personal storage box I don't use often, and +3 inventory slots is going to be very useful. We can start that now. But the main big thing about what we've just witnessed is the very, very fancy conveyor merger, which we can throw in slot 3, and conveyor splitter, which we'll throw in slot 4. These are very, very good things. If we get a conveyor merger, you'll notice 3 inputs, 1 output. A conveyor merger is pretty simple, but if you put things into any of the 3 inputs, even all 3 of the 3 inputs, they'll all combine into one line that can come out the 1 output. A conveyor splitter, the exact opposite. 3 outputs, 1 input. You put one thing into the 1 input, it runs in, and then it evenly splits out each of the 3 outputs that have things. So, if 3 items come in here, 1 goes out each output slot. Very nice. This is what we want to do first. We want a lot more iron to be produced because right now we're still making 120 per minute and only using 30 per minute. We can build 3 more of these smelters now that we've got splitters on our hands. So let's go ahead and tear all of this down and we can get started on the next version of this machine. Step 1, we're going to throw the miner in this direction and we're going to build 2 splitters. We line up our conveyor belts between them, then we take our splitters. 1 goes in line there, 1 in line there, 1 just a little bit over but still in line, and 1 on the other side, which we need iron rods. Make some iron rods. And 1 on the other side, which is a little bit out of line but it's okay. Now we connect all of our smelters up, and on the other side, we'll line up the exact same way we did before, with 1 facing towards this merger, and the other facing out, like this. We connect those 2 up, and then connect each one of our smelters to the merging line. At the end, we throw down 1 storage container in line with this merger, connect them up, and now all that's left is power. Now they're all on power, you can see by the power lines, but they're still red. What do you think's happening here? Why, of course. I forgot to select iron ingots on each one of these, because I'm a little stupid head. With the iron ore I got left over from just sitting around on the conveyor belt of the last machine, I can throw some in and immediately notice we've blown a fuse. The problem here, of course, is power production. We want to look at the machine here. Notice that we did not run out of fuel this time. The problem was this max consumption. Right here, before we made this change, it was 31. 35 even. This is us connecting. Our max consumption is 43 right now. And our capacity, it's 40 megawatts. Or at least it is when we're running our machines. That's not enough, so what we need is more power production. Luckily, we've got a slot on this power line set up just for that. If I throw a biomass burner right here, like this, connect it up to the power line, and then throw 200 more biomass in here, and I flip the switch, our capacity goes up to 70 megawatts. Amazing. Our max consumption is dwarfed. Our max consumption is dwarfed by that number. Which is great, because we kinda need more production than consumption. Sadly, we are running low on biomass right now, so we are going to have to gather a bunch of leaves. While I was gathering leaves and admiring my beautiful factory work down there, I noticed a noise. You might hear it now. This is that noise. The blue power slug. This is a very important thing that we've grabbed.
This semi-slug species seems to persist entirely through absorbing and storing energy from its surroundings. Studying this could provide new methods for improving fixit production line efficiency. Store this potential resource for later use.
Like it said in the little announcement there, we do want to store this for potential later use, same as we've done for the hard drive here. And luckily I know a box that's perfect for that kind of thing. For my next trick, I will handcraft 1,400 biomass. This is going to take a while. And I'm done. Now, I can handcraft 300 screws. But first we want to check on the wires over here, see if they've got 300 for us to use. Now we can come check on our iron production over here, where I can just grab a ton of ingots and make them into screws. Crafting 300 screws by hand isn't really that hard. They're 1 to 4 with iron rod,
Milestone reached.
which is
Supply
really
the molecular
nice.
analysis machine, referred to as the MAM, with local resources to research and develop new technologies. Potential technologies include exploration tools, weapons, and factory buildings. These are essential for maximizing your pioneer efficiency in alignment with Fixit's core pillars: construct, automate, explore, and exploit. To advance Fixit's mission, all notable phenomena, resources, technology, or other influence should be investigated regardless of any perceived danger, as stated in the Pioneer contract.
As I mentioned earlier, in that tier we got the MAM. One thing we can do right off the bat with that is these 3 items we've gotten. Number 1, power slugs. Our very first analysis is just 1 blue power slug. Boom.
This semi-slug, now dubbed Power Slug, is early in its life cycle and has retained only part of its potential energy storage capacity, giving it its blue color. Power slugs are capable of extracting latent energy from their surroundings, including through a form of photosynthesis, and preserve it in their porous semi-crystalline shell over their lifetime. This explains why they rarely move after having found a suitable location.
The next we can throw is hog research here.
The remains researched belong to an organism now dubbed the fluffy-tailed hog. It has many characteristics that would likely classify it among the Suidae family were it native to Earth. Hog remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving Pioneer safety during exploration.
Our next research is going to require another 200 screws, which, once again, isn't that bad.
Power slugs extract latent energy from their surroundings to sustain themselves. By tuning the object scanner to the particular potential energy signature, it is now able to locate them against the background environmental static.
We can also scan a hard drive right here. That's going to take 10 minutes, and while we're doing that, we can go on a search for some more things to murder. This one won't drop anything, but it's still fun to kill. But if we continue to search over here, we should quickly find something like this. Another fluffy-tailed hog for us to commit homicide to. We also were very lucky to have found another power slug. Now we can craft a couple more hog proteins, craft a power shard, come over to the man, look at the power slugs, and we can go ahead and add that to our to-do list to do later. I'm also looking for this, for which I need one more alien protein. So we're going to go ahead and look for another thing to murder. Now, I do not care what the thing we're murdering is. It would actually be a little bit better if we find a new thing to murder. The fluffy-tailed hog is great, pretty easy to juke, but if we can find something like a spider, that would be amazing. This does not drop anything, it's just bouncy. It's really fun to bounce on, but it's hard to kill without certain objects we don't have yet. This here, I believe, is a different type of hog. I'm not 100% sure, but this guy, I'm pretty sure, can chuck stuff. He also charges faster, and has significantly more health. It's very important, right now at least, that we do not let this guy barge off a cliff. Luckily, he's not going to let that happen either. He wants to kill me just as much as I want to kill him. And he's such a big boy that he gives 3 hog remains instead of the normal 1. And now we can make a couple more hog proteins really quickly. See that the mam is still working. And craft some biomass while we wait.
Hard drive analysis completed. Alternative recipe selection available in the MAM.
Any one of these 2 upgrades, or we can rescan it, taking another 10 minutes. 6 inventory slots isn't going to be very helpful at this point in the game. Just because, we don't have a lot that we're using, it will be helpful a lot more down the line. But screws straight from iron ingots sounds like the best option possible. I would love to have cast screws here. So we're going to select that, and then we're going to go back over to power slugs, start this research. That only takes 3 seconds. Start that research.
Overclocking development completed. Power shards can now be inserted into all buildings to increase input and output speed. Underclocking is also possible. Note: power consumption of overclocked buildings increases exponentially. Research completed. Alien protein can now be turned into biomass or alien DNA capsules. In addition to being used for research, the invaluable alien lifeform data in these capsules can be traded for Fix-It coupons at the Awesome Sync. We guarantee the best capsule to coupon exchange rate anywhere on this planet.
And now I want to look back over here at my iron production, where it's getting very loud, and it also shuts down a lot because of just not... We are absolutely at max efficiency here. Like, it throws 1 iron into each of them, they do their thing, and then they're filling this up. We absolutely need some better conveyor belts soon. But one thing we need to do is worry quite a bit. We need to worry a lot because this storage is getting pretty full. So we need more of it. Luckily, I've got the splitter so I can future-proof this. Now that I've got the splitter, I can just line it up here, throw down another storage container right next to this one, and just throw it into this storage. When this one overfills, which will be hopefully in a long while, it will just stock up this one. And I can also set this up to store much more vertically, which will be a lot better. One other thing I can start to set up is more iron production. If I set up a splitter right here in front, I connect them with a conveyor belt. Then in front of that, I line up 3 constructors. One down the middle, one to the left, and one to the right over here. Then I can click all of these together very easily, and I can set them up to take for cast screws, iron rods, and iron plates. Connect all 3 of these up. They're all going to make, together, every single iron good I could ever need. So if I go over here to the iron rod one, I can grab the iron rods that I need to make a storage container for the screws one. And now I have every single iron resource I can need at this stage, all coming from one singular iron node into 3 individual storage containers. Now that I have all that set up, I'm actually going to skip part assembly here and go directly to obstacle clearing, which is going to unlock the chainsaw, which is very important for me. If I click select milestone here, we'll see we need 500 screws, 100 cables, and 100 concrete. But I can just come over here for the 100 concrete, because my concrete machine has been running since the dawn of time. And I can up my stock to 500. I can grab another extra 100 on top. I don't even know why I came up here if I already had well over 100 concrete in my inventory, but I did, and now I have 600 concrete in my inventory. What are you gonna do to stop me? You can't, because you're not here. I can throw that 100 concrete in, and then I can come over to my wire machine over here, where I've got well over the 200 wires I need for one simple 100 wires. And I can sit down and make 100 cables, easy, no fuss about it. I can throw those in, and then I can come over to my brand new iron machine, which has been running since the dawn of time. I can look at my screws and say that I need to wait a minute. And now we have enough screws for this. Now that machine is going to keep working until the end of time, so we can just probably sit AFK for a couple hours and never have to worry about screws or anything again. But once we click that button...
Milestone reached. Solid biofuel, created from any biomass, ensures maximum efficiency of biomass burners. To aid in biofuel production, the chainsaw allows for the removal of tougher wood and coral foliage. Additionally, your pocket dimension has been inflated to increase inventory size. Inspirational note: will you be the Fix-It Employee of the Month? You could be if you construct, automate, explore, and exploit by eliminating all obstacles to efficiency. This isn't just fun, it's contractually mandated, fun.
Alright, I just grabbed, since we unlocked new biofuel stuff, all of my biomass, and we're going to turn it into solid biofuel here. This is going to take a while. We're not done yet, but we do have 600, which is 3 stacks here. And what I can do with 600 is I can swap out these two with 200 each. Then I can swap out this one with 200. This is already empty, and now I have more biomass but less solid biofuel. So I can keep crafting, and I can actually craft my full inventory into solid biofuel. Now, one thing I want to do over here is improve my copper management. So the first thing I'm going to do is this construction to smelter is actually perfect, but I want to disconnect this really quickly, and I want to throw that copper in there. What we can do is delete this, build a splitter in line right here, connect them up, then in a second we'll route storage off this. Alright, now I've deleted everything else. We can route copper storage to right there, and then connect that up, and that's just going to store copper. And then we want the other one to go into a constructor that makes wires. We throw a power pole there and connect it to the constructor so it's making wires. And here we'll take a foundation. We're going to add that in slot 5 so that we just have foundations at the ready whenever we need. But if we line the foundation up like that, what we can actually make here is a nice little platform for us to do pretty much anything we want on. This is going to be a pillar of our industrial machines over here. But one thing we need to do, so now if we take a splitter and we turn on snap mode so it's snapped in line with that, that's by holding left shift, we can take a splitter to there, and then build a storage container right there, and route the wires over to there. And then after this splitter, we can take a constructor, line it up right there, connect it up, and have it build cables. Then we'll take from this power line into the constructor so it can get started. And with the cables, we're going to put the storage through a splitter even though we don't have to, because later we're going to want to draw off our wire production here, and this will be, and having it already split will be very good. If we pop over back to our hub, we can look at Logistics Mark II, which requires reinforced iron plates. We already have these, we can already make these. Before we make reinforced iron plates automatically, one thing we need is this here. Part assembly gives us the assembler, which crafts 2 parts into 1 part. If we look back at our reinforced iron plates, they actually need plates, iron plates, and screws. 2 parts made in 1 part, so that's automatically produced in the assembler. One thing you'll notice is we have iron plate crafting automatically, we have screw crafting automatically, we have iron rod crafting automatically, and now we have cable crafting automatically. So if we select this milestone, we can even throw those 2 resources straight in. Now, if we go over to our wire storage over here, we will find that we do not have 200 wires. So we can just wait for a minute. I wasn't recording, but I seem to have fallen. Not to worry, I keep stacked with concrete, so what I can do is just take a 4 meter ramp here, and just ramp up to here, and then delete all of that, and it's like it never happened. That's why you should always keep resources, because if I hadn't been able to get up from that, I would have had to go down from that. And I can't retrieve my stuff without going down there and dying right now. Like, I literally cannot get down there. We can also find that our wire machine has finally pulled through. So if I take the 280 that it's made, and I'll keep 80 on me, and I'll put 200 in here, we can finally get part assembly.
Milestone reached. The assembler can produce more complex parts, including the first project part, smart plating, which is crucial for initiating project assembly. Project parts must be delivered to the space elevator. By completing your contracted duties as part of project assembly, you will definitely be helping achieve Fix-It Company goals without any other ulterior motive. Note: humans cannot craft project parts. Do not worry about your inadequate crafting skill when compared to an assembler. Fix-It cherishes your innate human abilities, such as walking, striking objects, and commodifying natural resources.
And now, we want to go directly to Logistics Mark II. The resource sink is not exactly what we want right now, although we can do it entirely within what we're already automatically building. All it adds is the awesome sink and the awesome shop, which aren't necessities at this stage, and the build gun upgrade for customizer, which is just a cosmetic thing. So we want to go straight to logistics Mark II. And we can probably get that concrete loaded up now, but before that happens, I actually want to throw some power over here so that we can set up one similar iron machine, because I want to have one that goes directly from iron into reinforced plates. I'm not even going to make iron rods because I don't have to. Now, you already know how this goes, so I'm not even going to bore you with the process. Now, you may notice that even though I've just connected this to power, there's no power. That's because I blew a fuse. You see, our max consumption right now is 76, and if you recall earlier, our capacity, we only rose up to 70. Luckily, to improve our capacity, all we need to do is one minor change. We delete this, throw down another biomass burner over here, throw down a splitter right here, connect the splitter to each machine, connect this, we will split this off to its own power pole and then connect this to that same power pole. Recreate our storage container, connect it back up, and throw down all our power generating needs here. But while we do this, I want to actually make one adjustment here. As you see, we have solid biofuel. We want solid biofuel to be the only fuel source we're using, but I don't want to manually craft all my solid biofuel. And earlier what we did to combat this was we just created a constructor, popped it down, connected it up, told it to make solid biofuel, connected it to power, and then had it get all its power stuff right there. The problem with that is solid biofuel needs biomass. And if you think about it, it's actually really simple. You see, we have mergers. And mergers are going to be very good because we need two crafters, and I'll explain why in a second. This splitter, no matter what goes in, it just takes one item out the left, one item out the right, one item out the center. No matter what. No matter, we could throw 40 items at it and it would just sort them between left, middle, and center. That's not good if we are doing something like making biomass, which, if you'll recall, if we look at this biomass recipe, there are 3 different recipes. There's one for wood, one for leaves, and one for alien protein. And if we want to even go more into it, alien protein has 4 different recipes, one for each type of enemy you can kill. Now, if I were in my main world, where I have pretty much all the way through, I would use what's called a smart splitter, which acts just like a splitter, except I can interact with it and I can tell it, oh, put this item to the left, put this item to the right, put this item down the middle. And that's great, but the thing is we don't have those yet, because they're a lot later stage. So in the meantime, I have to contend with just lining up a merger like that and making 2 different constructors over here. One's going to be in line there. The other's going to be in line there. We can connect both of them up like that. Then what we'll have this one do is make biomass wood, and the left one will make biomass leaves. And then when we connect them up to power, we can just feed stuff in. Now if you look at our capacity, it's 0 megawatts right now, and our max consumption is 76. If I power this on, it should update our max consumption to 103, which is still above our capacity of 100. So that's not very good. We can fix this later. We've actually got a slot where we could fix this, but right now I need to work on some more power production. So now, normally before, I was just grabbing leaves like this. Except now we have a new innovation in the grabbing leaves market. You see, if I really quickly throw all my wood into here, and all my leaves into here, so that starts working, making some more solid biofuel, I can come over to my equipment workshop, where I can turn off that and see that we can make a chainsaw. But we need more wires. So if I go grab some more wires from this box right here, we can build just one chainsaw. Now we'll equip that chainsaw to our other hand slot. We're going to inspect it, pop it out, very nice. For the chainsaw to operate, we need solid biofuel on hand. But if we run over here, where there's a tree, we can now chop down trees. You'll also notice it cleared leaves around us. If we can select this leaf here, or either of these leaves really, here we go. Right there, we can also chainsaw leaves just to get the area. This uses a lot less biofuel than it makes. So we can just sit here, sawing away at everything. Even massive trees like this get like 33 wood, 209 leaves in one go. It's an amazing machine, it's great. Alright, and we've now chopped down quite a bit. We've got a decent amount of resources here. So what I can do, and this one takes all the wood, this one takes all the leaves, and now if we check on this assembler here, we've only got 11 reinforced iron plates right now, but if we look over at the iron rods, we've got well over what we need. So we can just go ahead and throw those in. Now we're still lagging a bit behind in plate production. I probably need to just spend a bit of time collecting iron, or collecting leaves so that this all runs. But if I look over here, I've filled up that iron. If I just add some iron plates to my to-do list until I have 300, which is the amount I need for the Logistics Mark II, I know I need 450 iron ingots. So I just grab 4 stacks and then I split one and grab the 50. Now I can just go over and manually craft all the iron plates I need. Alright, we've now handcrafted all that, so we can just throw our 300 plates in there. One thing I did mention earlier was that our copper production is perfect. I was lying. Our copper production leaves a lot to be desired, mainly the same thing our iron production did. It is producing 120 copper ore per minute, and it's only taking 30 per minute into the smelter. What we want to do later, which we don't really need to do right now, is to increase the amount of smelters. And I actually want to check. Yeah, so I made the same exact mistake over here as I did in the copper production there, except here it's a lot less forgivable. Now there's a bit of clipping and that does look pretty ugly, but there's not much I can do about that. Right now, later we're going to lay out a format. It's going to be a lot easier once we set up the blueprint designer. And after quite a bit of waiting, and with this extra machine helping bump up our supply here, we actually have 90. Which means if I split 50 off and grab these 50, I'll put my extra 6 in here, you know, just to keep it organized for now. I can run over here, throw it in, and launch Logistics Mark II.
Milestone reached. Fixit would like to remind you of your contractual obligation towards efficiency. Recreational use of belts and lifts does not count towards work hours and will put you on the list. Stay efficient, don't disappoint Fixit.
Alright, with that new tier, we got Conveyor Belt Mark II, Stackable Conveyor Pole, and Conveyor Lift Mark II. Now, Conveyor Belt Mark II is the main good thing from this. but it uses those very same reinforced iron plates, which I currently have none of in my inventory because I dropped them all off here, but I can just grab the 58 that are still in. And what I want to do immediately is one of my favorite Satisfactory features, that's editing conveyor belts in place. I just mouse over this. My conveyor belts are now, these are Mark IIs. This is still Mark I, but these are Mark IIs, which is really nice. Now, these machines are running full of stock. We want to level up these two so that they can siphon more into here. I also, while waiting, set up another power thing, another biomass burner here. So we're at a capacity of 160 instead of 123. Which means I can take reliance off of this biomass burner back here, which I never really liked reaching anyways because it's so annoying. And we can also take another look. It pays really to just every once in a while take a look at the man, but we can go over to alien megafauna and we can research the stinger.
The remains researched belong to an organism with 8 jointed legs, similar to the legs of arachnids but with non-standard distribution and function. Because its attacks focus on stabbing prey with the ends of their legs, which resemble insectoid stingers, they have been dubbed stingers. Stinger remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving pioneer safety during exploration. The remains researched belong to an organism that tends to nest near objects emitting specific types of resonance. Spitters are called as such due to their ability to create and spit plasma across long distances. Spitter remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving pioneer safety during exploration.
The next goal we're going to throw into is the resource sync bonus program because while it isn't any essential feature in any sense of the word, it is an amazing thing to have on hand, especially when we get a lot of extra materials like this extra copper we have just lying around a bunch. I would love to throw a bunch of this at something else, and a great way to do that is the resource sync program. So we're going to do that, hopefully really quickly. Alright, now we have all of the resource sync program.
Milestone reached. You have been given access to the anti-waste effort for stress testing of materials on Exoplanet's bonus program, also known as Awesome. Your awesome input allows Fixit to comprehend our amazing universe more clearly. In appreciation of this, we have generously set up an internal, closed economy with exclusive rewards and currency. Directing parts of varying quantity and complexity into the Awesome Resource Sink will grant Fixit coupons. These coupons can be redeemed in the Awesome Shop for highly desirable items such as new foundations, walls, factory attachments, cosmetics, parts, and more. Next time you have additional resources, just remember to go that extra kilometer. Go awesome.
The Awesome Sink is a very simple machine. What I've done here is I've taken all of the copper storage and I've routed it through a splitter so that half of it gets put in storage up here and half of it gets sent to the Awesome Sink. Now you might notice it's not taking anything in. That's because it has no power. That is because I blew a fuse. Our max consumption raised up past the capacity again. And then we used our max consumption and it broke. But I've increased our capacity back to 170. We now have some extra room here. 17 megawatts of room, to be precise. But basically all this copper is going to go in here. And at first it's going to be pretty quick to get printable coupons here. We will need to produce something out of this copper eventually. which isn't a bad thing necessarily. Like we're just going to need to have to update our production line, find something else that we can afford to throw half of away, or create a crafter on that end so that this copper is instead going in as something like copper sheets or wires or something where it produces more points. The last thing in tier 1, so that we can wrap up the video today, is jump pads. This one's going to be pretty simple except for the rotors. Luckily, I can just go into our parts thing here, search up a rotor, add a couple to my to-do list like this, and now we know that we need 250 iron rods and 1,250 screws. Luckily, we still have this machine running, where we can grab 1,250 screws, easy, and we can grab 250 iron rods, and then refill the stuff we keep on our person. And then all we have to do is pop over to our crafting table and do all of this by hand. And we're done, so we can throw all 50 of those rotors in here. The only other thing we need for this, very easy, we need 150 wires, which we have on hand because this wire machine rarely gets grabbed from. Then we need to go over here and grab 300 iron plates, which we're lucky that we have 300 iron plates, to be honest, because that machine gets taken from so often. So if we just throw all of this stuff in here,
Milestone reached. The Fix-It jump pad combines high technology and innovation for optimized factory traversal and an ideal travel experience. Clarification. Ideal travel experience not guaranteed, individual results may vary. Pioneers are responsible for all workplace accidents resulting from jump pad usage.
alright, now that is the end of tier 2, entirely. Which is great, we could end here, but the thing is, next episode we want to do phase 1, which is tiers 3 and 4, but we can't. Why can't we? Because we have still not built the space elevator. Now if we go over here to special and we just add this to our list, we'll notice we need quite a bit of materials here. Now a lot of these we can grab just from what we have on hand. Like if we look over in our concrete machine, we already have 500 concrete ready. And now we've got that checked off with a full extra stack to grab from for other things. Then we can come over to our wire machine where we can go ahead and get 1,500 and keep 178 for ourselves here. The main problem with where we are now is we do not have enough materials in either of these iron departments to make the space elevator. Luckily, these are automatically getting made, so we don't have to manually craft a single item if we don't want to. But if we don't want to craft items, we have to be doing something while these machines go off and build their thing. One thing I can do is I can look over here and I can see, well, we have a lot of excess iron plates because we're using 30 per minute, but we're actually making 40 per minute. We have 2 of these assemblers making 20 per minute. So I can afford to actually take out 196 iron plates from here and put them in here in our storage. Then we absolutely have 250 iron plates to spare. So we can make solutions like that happen for some of them, but we still need to wait on iron rod. And while we're doing that, I'm going to grab 200 solid biofuel from over here, and we're going to go on a little rampage. Now that I've literally, and I mean literally, filled my inventory with leaves and wood and other various things that we can turn into biofuel, I can comfortably say I've not spent enough time to get the iron rods I need. And we can evidence that by looking at the iron rods that we have and knowing that it's not enough. But I can also comfortably say we shouldn't have to worry about power anytime soon. Because, Jesus Christ, this is so many leaves. How did I get so many leaves? There are so many leaves. What? But I can literally just sit here for a second. So we're gonna do that. Please hold. Alright, we're back and we have well over 400 iron rods. And by well over I mean we have 48 over 2. We have 48 over 400 iron rods. But we now have all the materials we need to create the space elevator. So all we need is a location to do so. So we are going to build the space elevator right here. Which means our inputs are over here, easily accessible to the ramp we came up here with. And we're going to watch this thing prepare.
Project assembly initialized. Congratulations, Pioneer. The space elevator will now automatically connect with the Project Assembly orbital platform. Project assembly is divided into phases, each of which require the delivery of project parts, such as smart plating, via the space elevator. Subsequent phases unlock access to new tiers with more advanced technologies to construct, automate, explore and exploit. It is time to be honest. This project is part of the Save the Day program, the largest united undertaking in human history, destined to save us all. Earth is in peril and only Fix-It pioneers offer hope for survival. Fix-It is counting on you. Humanity is counting on you. Do not let Fix-It down.
I've been CottonCandieBoop. I will see you next episode for Phase 1 of Satisfactory 1.0, where we will hopefully delve into everything in Phase 1. Until then, I hope you have an amazing, lovely day, and goodbye. Boop.